What's going on? Welcome. This is KO Bets. Tonight we're going to review UFC Fight Night, Costa versus Vettori, taking place tomorrow evening. I think it's taking place. I should do this research beforehand. I apologize. Let's verify where this is taking place before we. Yeah, UFC Apex. So the smaller arena. It'll take place tomorrow. Should be a good card, full of a lot of fights. To be frank, some of them aren't great fights, but, we'll get through them. All of them, 14 of them. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Before we start the video, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You'll get notified when I go live with my shows. Sometimes the start times can be a little bit sporadic, like this evening. I went bowling and went to California Pizza Kitchen. Wasn't on at 7. I'm hopping on at 9:45 here. Sue me for what? Liking pizza? So you'll get notified when I go live. If you like the video, if you dislike it, I appreciate any interaction, comment. So we'll get through this fight card here, starting with the prelim. We got Jonathan Martinez making his debut against the Georgian. I'm not going to even really lie. I can't pronounce his name. He's 8-0. He's a wrestler from Georgia. Zviad Lajivishvili from Georgia. So pretty high submission rate. Obviously, he's 8-0, so has never been beaten. Carries favorite odds at -115, but it is a pick'em. Martinez is -105. Martinez is 3-3 in the UFC. Carries a decent amount of experience here. 0 submission losses on his resume. So, what we could potentially see here is this match going to a decision. It'll be interesting to see how big of a discrepancy there is between Martinez and Lashivili on the feet, because I believe Zviad is going to hold a distinct advantage on the ground in grappling. So if he can get a few takedowns, and you can see the takedown defense, I don't know if I love him grappling with Martinez, but, maybe he could take him down, and he's just super dominant down there. So I'm going to go with Zviad. I think he can score a couple of takedowns, maybe take a couple rounds that way, and then not get pieced up too bad and not get like 10-7'd in the first round. I think he'll be fine. Hopefully the gas tank is pretty good, and yeah, we'll just go with Zviad on this in his debut at 8-0. We've got Lavina Souza against Ronda Marcos. Souza's the favorite at -120. Ronda Marcos carries +100 odds. It's not, I'm not going to lie, it's not my favorite matchup. My apologies. Let me share the page here. I'm not going to lie, this isn't my favorite matchup of all time. The Brazilian Gangster against Quiet Storm. So Ronda Marcos, she's on a 4-fight losing streak. And then Souza's 3-2 in the UFC. So just a 10-12-1 record coming off of 4 losses. That's not good. So I'm going to go with Souza on the money line prediction. I think, Ronda Marcos could win this fight if she keeps it standing. I kind of think both of their striking is pretty bad. So, what I'm picturing is, just an aggressive... I feel like whoever's most aggressive and can get, top control in any grappling exchanges is going to find themselves in those advantageous positions. And nothing against, Ronda Marcos and her record and her resume. She's got way more experience than I think Souza at this point. But, Souza's just demonstrated more of an ability to win, to get out of there. I don't know if she's gonna, necessarily score any type of submission, but I'm trusting her to be the aggressor in this fight and potentially take down Ronda Marcos, get her to the ground, and just lay heavy top pressure on Ronda Marcos. I do think it is going to go to a decision. A decision, though, is minus 250. And then I just think, I almost feel like wherever this fight is, maybe Lavina's going to have a bit of an advantage. Just as long as she's the aggressor and she's pushing forward, I think she'll be fine in this fight. I can see her winning fairly easily. In the next bout, we've got Jeffrey Molina against Daniel Lacerda. Daniel Lacerda is making his debut. He's 11-1. Molina's 9-2. Molina's the favorite at minus 160. Daniel De Silva's plus 140. Now, if you look at Daniel De Silva's fight history, literally every single one of his fights have ended inside the distance. So, he wants to go in there with his 11 victories, 1 loss. Like, he wants to go in there and score some sort of finish. That's what he's training for. The question is, can he win a decision? I mean, yeah, it's possible, but I mean, how much gas is he going to expense by the time he realizes, holy shit, I can't put away this Jeffrey Molina dude. Like, he's pretty tough. So Molina's 1-0 in the UFC. He does have, a submission loss on his resume. I think he has a decision loss as well. But he's at least, he's a tough, really, really tough fighter. And I think it's going to be a difficult task for Daniel de Lacerda to come in here and score either a takedown or a submission against Jeffrey Molina. Like, could he win a decision? Sure. But I think it's more likely that we see Molina tire out Daniel, and who knows, he could come out and score something quick against Molina, score a quick KO first round. I just think it's going to be tough. I really do, to put a guy like Molina away, but I want to take Molina on the money line. And then I think the intelligent strategy is to go for the decision win, but, by all means, if Daniel Lacerda's super tired, gassed out, there could be an opportunity to finish the fight late in the second, third round for Jeffrey Molina. So I kind of like the decision at plus 150, but, you got to remember it takes 2 to tango, 2 to fight, and Daniel Lacerda, none of his 12 fights have reached a decision. So, he might not let it go to the judges. In the next bout, we've got Kama Worthy against Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert's the favorite, minus 180. Kama Worthy, plus 155 odds. Kama Worthy, he's on an 0-2 streak. He's 2-2 in the UFC. All 8 of his losses have come inside the distance. Only 4 out of 24 of his fights have gone to decision. Jai Herbert, on the other end, he's 0-2 in the UFC. 8 out of his 10 wins have come via KO. Both guys are just trying to figure out, their ways in the UFC, apparently. But I would give Herbert probably a more of an advantage technically in the boxing. Worthy does have KO power, though. You can see both guys have an affinity to KO their opponent. I'm going to go with Jai Herbert, just the more sound boxer. I could see him winning a decision or potentially a knockout. Kama Worthy, it's kind of like, I could see a knockout for sure. I don't know how many other outcomes there are, though. for him to win this fight. So I kind of like Jai Herbert. So we'll go Jai Herbert on the money line. Does the fight go the distance? No, but that's minus 360 odds. So a Herbert decision is plus 450. That's a little appealing. I don't know if I would necessarily take that, but it's just tough because in the UFC thus far we haven't seen the best of Jai Herbert. So like it's tough. We've seen him in a couple of losses, but we just haven't seen how good he could potentially look in a win. So I mean the decision is appealing, plus 450 odds. I think that's a smart approach for him, especially being 0-2 in the UFC here. Like, just point him up, get the win, go home, don't get hurt too bad, schedule a fight for early 2022, and, start off better next year. In the next bout, we've got Jamie Pickett against Loreno Starpoli. Jamie Pickett is on a 2-fight losing streak. He's 0-2 in the UFC. He's just kind of been not great thus far in the UFC. He's probably a decent fighter, and eventually he's gonna, knock someone out. And is that gonna be Loreno Starpoli? Tough to say. He's coming off a 3-fight losing streak himself, so we've just got a couple of fighters that are kind of struggling thus far in their early UFC careers. So I probably like Starpoli, who is the favorite at minus 225 odds. I probably do like him just because I've seen him win in the UFC. He's 2-3 in the UFC. I could see him putting together a good game plan against a guy like Jamie Pickett, keeping his distance, not getting hit with anything big. And then I would probably give him an advantage a little bit in the as far as the grappling department. So I could see him winning a decision. I could see him, I just maybe perceive in this fight, a decision makes a lot of sense for me. Like, neither fighter wants to lose. They obviously both want to win, but there's so much pressure on both of these guys, with a combined 5 losses in a row coming into this bout to just, don't lose, So I could see this one, potentially going to a decision, and I like Loreno Starpoli if it does. We've got then a decent fight after this. Tabitha Ricci against Maria Oliveira. Tabitha Ricci's 0-1 in the UFC, but she fought against the pretty good fighter in Mannion Furo. Tabitha Ricci is a really good wrestler. She does have, you can see 40% of her wins come via submission. So she is a good grappler. Maria Oliveira, kind of the opposite. I expect her to try and keep this fight striking. If she can point strike, kickbox, I think things will fare well for her, but Tabitha Ricci, she's pretty tough. I think, I expect her to step through some shots. Similar to, we watched someone, her name was like the Meatball or something. So that's the kind of fight I'm seeing. It wasn't Correa, was it? Might be on this card. 1 second. Might be on the Volkanovski versus Ortega one. No. I don't know. I gotta figure out who that was, because she was pretty good. But just, this desire, almost like an Aspen Ladd, or whoever this chick is, who I can't remember her name. Like, just a willingness. Oh, it was Molly McCann, I think. Yeah, it was Molly McCann. Just this desire to win, step through shots, secure the takedowns, make the fight go the way they want it to go. Like, I think that's Tabitha Ricci, this fight. So I think she's going to secure a takedown. She's going to walk through Maria Oliveira's shots, and she'll be fine. I mean, Maria Oliveira, she's making her UFC debut. She's not Mannion Farrow, though. And even, there's some things that need to be addressed with Tabitha Ricci's stand-up game, but as long as she improves there and she's able to get in close, eat a couple shots, she's going to get the takedown. So submission for Tabitha Ricci is plus 240 odds. A submission decision is minus 175 odds. I don't think she's going to knock out Maria Oliveira, but there's always a possibility with a dominant ground fighter that they could potentially ground and pound. More like a Grant Dawson, Habib, style. They just wear on you. In the next fight, we got Mason Jones, minus 435 odds, going up against David Onama. I don't know why Mason Jones is such the heavy favorite. He's 0-1 in the UFC with the no contest. Obviously, he does come in with a pretty good resume, exciting fight style, but so does his opponent here. So I'm not like a huge fan of the odds I'm seeing, but I like Mason Jones, but minus 435 odds is just, to me it's a little steep. And he's going up against a guy who in his own right has an impressive finishing rate. All of his fights have ended, all of his wins have at least ended inside the distance. I don't know what the loss and no contest would be inside the distance, but basically I could just see maybe Mason Jones winning a decision here, along with possibly a submission or KO, whereas with David, I'm really only seeing the path to victory being like a KO. So, method of victory, you could bet on some specific type of finish. I think a KO is likely from these two fighters. But that being said, I think a smart game plan would be for Mason Jones to go in there and maybe try and, grind out a couple rounds on the mat. So I don't think the fight's going to go the distance, but don't want to nominate any sort of prop bet for this one. In the next fight, we've got Jung Park against Gregory Rodriguez. Jung Park, 3-1 in the UFC. Great wrestler, great grappler. Just dominates with position. Friends and I call this type of fighter a Snorlax. Just a guy who's gonna, kind of wear on you, lean the body weight on you. I don't think he's had. I think all three of his wins in the UFC have been decisions. It's not like he's necessarily looking for the finish at all times. When he does have advantageous positions, he's content to just lay there and kind of control the match in that manner. On the other side of the bout, we've got Gregory Rodriguez. He's 1-0 in the UFC. I think he's got, you know, I would say capable power where he could knock out an opponent. He is a member of X Gym, which is interesting. That's like where Anthony Smith trains. So you hope he's at least somewhat well-rounded, and you can see some submission method of victory. So, like, hopefully he's decent on the ground. I'm thinking at minus 125 odds, I'm thinking Gregory Rodriguez holds enough of an advantage on the feet where, like, I'm comfortable with taking him and saying, he's the guy who's not going to let Jung Young Park take him down. Now, he, like I said, he's only 1-0 in the UFC, so who knows? But I think Rodriguez can keep the fight on the feet, win probably not inside the distance, but a Gregory KO or decision is plus 100 odds. I mean, shoot, out of all the prop bets we've kind of laid out there, it's the only good one I think I've thrown out there, so I like that one a lot. Yeah, just like Gregory Rodriguez in this match. Then we're on to the main card here. All right, sweet. We've got Nikolai Nigumarenu. It's a tough name. Isaac Villanueva. We'll call him Nikolai. Nikolai's 10-1, carries minus 250 odds. Isaac Villanueva plus 200 odds, 18-12. Isaac Villanueva, he's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. Only 4 out of his 30 fights have reached a decision ever in his career. And the plan's basic. He wants to get in there, and he wants to finish his opponent, KO his opponent. So he eats a lot of shots. If we look at his, shot chart here, you can see and part of that's like, he's gone 1-3 in his last 4. So, part of that's just, byproduct of losing matches, but, he does eat, he's hittable. Now, is Nikolai, a wrestler, going to be able to put a dude like this away? He's got to rely on wrestling, and he just hasn't used it up until this point, and I'm really nervous that he's not going to use it in this matchup, and I think he could get knocked out if he doesn't use it. He holds such a distinct advantage on the ground in this matchup, in my opinion. He could maybe even get a submission from the ground, but he's got to grapple. I don't think he needs to be standing there and banging with an Isaac Villanueva. I like a Nikolai, I think the smart move's a Nikolai decision, submission plus 125 odds, but, I'm going to go with Nikolai. He better use the grappling this week. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. We've got Francisco Trinaldo against Dwight Grant. Trinaldo carries favored odds. He's minus 135. He's a long-tenured UFC fighter. I think he's 43 years old. I think he's now up a weight class from where he used to be fighting. Just a kind of impressive. He's finds himself on a main card, and he's fighting against I would say a dangerous opponent in the sense like he hits real hard and he's explosive. Dwight Grant is the underdog at plus 115. Probably, like I said, is going to hold some sort of physical advantage. Yeah, you can see a little height, reach, leg reach. the biggest issue with him is output. He just doesn't throw. I mean, he doesn't throw strikes. He doesn't like to get hit, but gets hit more than he throws strikes, which is I never like seeing that. So if he has good output in this match, he could potentially win. He could potentially catch Francisco Trinaldo early on in the fight, but we had such great luck picking the older fighters last weekend with Arlovsky and Jim Miller. Let's do it again. We're going to go with Trinaldo at minus 135 odds. I really like a decision. I think Dwight Grant, he probably wins if there's a knockout and if this fight ends inside the distance, but I really like a decision for Trinaldo. I have no idea what the odds are on that. I'm just as we're talking through this, I'm like, that could happen, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, so Trinaldo decision plus 180. Just write it down. Lovely. So just going with Trinaldo on this. Like the output, I think he should. He is old, so I want to be careful when I say he should hold a speed advantage. I think he's gonna look good. I think he's gonna look good at this weight class. I really think so. I think we've seen it with a lot of fighters. They get older, they move up in weight, and they look good. So next fight we've got Alex Caraces against Seungwoo Choi. Alex karate style, Seungwoo more of a striker, boxer. Alex has been around in the UFC for a long time, up and down career. He is on a 4-fight win streak now, but they're not the craziest wins. Seungwoo Choi is 2-3 in the UFC. He's on a 3-fight win streak, so he lost his first 2 fights. Doesn't really have a ground game, but his last fight against Julian Erosa really, really sold me on his ability to win tough fights. So I love Choi. I'm picking Choi all day in this. I like Choi on the money line. I like him to win a decision. I like him to potentially win with a knockout. We look at Alex Caceres. It's just with any of these karate style guys, it's tough. It is a battle of output. If it is that type of point strike match, and then you just hope the strikes that Seungwoo lands. Alex wears them a little worse than him. And so, we're going to go with Seungwoo Choi. It's just, sometimes it's hard to score the knockout against the wide karate stance that's it's more important to be able to stay within range of touching you with the feet as opposed to the hand. So I don't know, I'm thinking of a Thompson who's he'll literally fight with his arms down by his side because he's so far away, and he just implements that karate style, and it's exciting, but I don't know. It's sometimes exciting. Sometimes it's the worst. It's the worst style of fighting, in my opinion. But sometimes it is exciting. We've got Jessica Rose Clark taking on Jocelyn Edwards. Rose Clark comes in at 9-6. Jocelyn Edwards 10-3. I would say Jocelyn is probably gonna come in here with more of like the kickboxing approach, and Jessica Rose Clark, she's just tough. Like, I think all of her losses have come via decision. I don't think there's any way she's getting knocked out in this match, even with the impressive wins by KO percentage by Jocelyn Edwards. As you can see, output-wise, very similar. I think the advantage lies for Jessica Rose Clark on the mat and in the grappling. It's not just a boxing match. At the end of the day, there's other facets to the game and the matchup, including, low kicks, clinches, grounds. So, on an ideal, Saturday, Jocelyn Edwards would be boxing Jessica Rose Clark, but not tomorrow. So we're gonna go with Jessica Rose Clark. I could see her, maybe winning a submission or decision in the fight. If she implements her game plan, takes down Jocelyn Edwards. If they have like hiccups all day, just pop up randomly. They just popped up again here. In the next fight, we've got Grant Dawson taking on Ricky Glenn. Grant Dawson, minus 510 odds. Ricky Glenn, plus 375. Like, I don't even know what you do with that. Grant Dawson, 5-0 in the UFC. Tremendous wrestler. And he's nasty with the wrestling. He pushes the pace, ground and pound, constantly advancing positions. Very, similar approach to a lot of the Dagestan, Russia fighters we see come into the UFC. Just an incredible pace on the ground. Kind of weaponizes that in the grappling exchanges and just really wears on his opponents and tends to get finishes. So is he going to get a finish against Ricky Glenn? I don't know. But one thing's for sure, I can't see Ricky Glenn stopping Grant Dawson's takedowns. I mean, is he going to be the first guy to do it? Maybe. But I really don't see it. It is always kind of scary watching the wrestler shoot against a good striker, and then they get clipped kind of on their way in, and they're recovering from the top. But, I guess I'll go with Grant Dawson in this. Like him to implement his grappling and really control the match. As far as a prop bet, man, I don't even know. You could argue, his submission is something that's feasible considering Grant Dawson, does have more of an affinity and a willingness to try and finish his opponents. I think he won his last match with like 1 second left in the match. He won it on a submission, which is just crazy. So he's going to go for the submission or the finish. So you could, if you think Grant Dawson is just going to go in there and bitterly whomp Ricky Glenn, like, go ahead and bet on some sort of finish. Bet on a submission. Like, he's going to push for it and go for it. It's just, a matter of, it's just tough to sometimes choose the method of victory in a matter of, like, is he going to run out of time? Is something, weird going to happen in the match? I don't know. He's for sure going to go for it, though. He'll go for the finish, so I kind of like a Grant Dawson submission. prop bet. Then we've got just like we got Paulo Costa against Marvin Vettori. Both of these dudes, their last losses come courtesy of Israel Adesanya, right? The belt holder, the champ. So this is Israel Adesanya is the champ at 185 pounds. These guys, I mean, Paulo Costa, he's the number 2 contender, and Marvin Vettori is the number 5 contender. And Paulo Costa shows up to Vegas this week weighing like 211 pounds or some shit, and just says like he's not gonna make weight. It's like, okay, do a catch weight, and then they kind of agreed at 195, but then, you know, ultimately both of these guys weighed in. Vettori at 204, Paulo Costa at 204.5, and just, I mean, honestly, just the interviews and like, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Like, it's kind of funny because Vettori's still willing like to take the fight, and he's like, you know, he wants to fight Paulo Costa, but like, I mean, just so unprofessional by Paulo Costa to like show up. So not only like, I don't know, he wasn't gonna make weight, but like wasn't even willing to try to cut weight, any weight, just to make it like, you know, you're the number 2 contender in the world. You're both chasing after the 185-pound belt. You're hoping to get a shot at that belt. Like, and if an interim title or a belt was on the line, guess what? Like, Paulo Costa, and like, no more. Like, you didn't make weight. It's not on the line anymore. So, Paulo Costa's huge for the division, and it's my opinion he should just stay at 205. I don't think he's better than Israel Adesanya. I don't think he's better than Marvin Vettori in this fight even. I don't think he's as well-rounded. Obviously super dangerous, possesses really nice power, raw talents, but I don't know. Just not... I feel like Vettori, all he needs to do is take this guy into deep waters, wrestle with him. You know, I even kind of like him to point strike with Paulo Costa on the feet. I think Paulo Costa is going to overextend, and I think Vettori, you know, he knows who he's in there against. You know, very electric, exciting fighter, but Costa hasn't fought in a long time either. So is there going to be any sort of ring rust in there? Maybe. But honestly, just like after how this whole week went with Paulo Costa, I hope Vettori just like knocks him out. I really do. And I feel kind of bad for saying that, right? Vettori is the favorite, by the way, at minus 180. So we're taking Vettori. But you just... I don't know. It's just so... Like, there was a definite possibility, like, Paulo Costa, like... I don't know, if nothing was said, like, was going to go in there today and weigh in, like, 26 pounds heavier than Vettori. And, like, then in the interviews with Brett Okamoto and some of the other media members, he just didn't... It's tough, because I'm sure there's clearly some sort of language barrier there. You know, I can't say, you know, he was conveying everything that he truly felt like he needed to convey. It's just... The dude's stupid. So, you know, I I don't know, raw talent and ability can only take you so far. And, I think Marvin Vettori's got that. And he's a little more dedicated, to his craft. And he's a little more professional. And he's just a better fighter. So we're going to go with Marvin Vettori. Thought I maybe would have a NBA Top Shot pack that I could open up here live on stream, but I don't. The Dwayne Wade ones, they're not out yet. I don't know what's going on with them. Yeah, the Dwayne Wade moment. It says available now. And then I go to my collection. Here, I'll show you guys the page. I go to my collection and my packs, and I think I bought. Yeah, I bought 3 of them. I don't even know what they are. Would you buy for $27? No idea. That's the other frustrating thing about it. Like, I don't know, you get queued up in the queue into the line, and I kept missing my spot because I would and be like, I'm talking like you're waiting in line in the queue for a couple hours. Walk away, come back, like battery died or something like that. So you gotta log back on. It's just a little frustrating to go, like, not have the instant gratification, like when you buy something. Like I was gonna do a card break because I bought a pack of baseball cards. I was gonna do a card break on the show. KO bets, right? How cool, right? I mean, is it exactly betting? No, but it's something kind of neat. It's sports, something to do with, it's a filler, it's an activity, something exciting. I don't really care about the baseball cards. Maybe if someone needed one and they saw I had one, we could work out some sort of deal. I just thought it would be cool. I mean, I maybe got 23 minutes at, being home, and then I was just like, I can't take it anymore, and I ripped them open. And then, a couple hours later, I'm back at the store buying more of them, and I'm ripping them open. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. The NBA Top Shot, it's just kind of weird how you get your pack here, and it says, I see you soon, boy. It ain't right. It ain't right. So tomorrow I've got adult trick-or-treating, which is pretty fun. Gonna be a skeleton with Crystal. We're both gonna be skeletons. And we're gonna go to like a campground area, do some trick-or-treating. They have like Jello shots and different stuff for the adults, so like, some of that's fun to partake in. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be a little bit cold, but no rain. Plus our costumes, they're like fleece. I couldn't wear. I had a costume work event, and I couldn't even wear it. It was so warm. So it'll be good that it's a little cool out there. Then Sunday, gotta celebrate a big time birthday out at a friend's house, and then of course got football on. I'll probably do my NFL picks in the morning. I didn't review last week's UFC fights, but I did calculate those into my overall record. So we now stand at 95 wins, 39 losses, 5 no decisions draws, out of a total of 139 fights. Subtract the 5 no contest draws, that gives us an eligible 134 fights. Carry a 70% win. What the fuck? I didn't update it. I didn't even update it. Or it didn't save. What happened? Yeah, this is the exact... I think this is the exact percentage I had last week. So I'll double check, make sure I get it uploaded, updated correctly. I just gotta go to see in my history, in my previous videos, what I had it at. Because we definitely went down. I'm not sure if I got up above 71%, and maybe this is the new percentage, but had a few really good weekends in a row where I'm talking we got no fights wrong. And then last weekend, just got unlucky on a few. So hopefully have a good weekend. If you're living somewhere warm, get outside, take advantage of it, because I hate you for it. I'm jealous. If you're somewhere cold, have a campfire, watch a movie, stay inside, do something warm. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. I'll see you on Sunday. Thank you.